So this video that I'm going to make today is something that I've been thinking about for quite some time now that I think other people may have given some thought to. So I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are about this. I guess you can call it a theory, but I guess for me it's more just I guess this is the same thing, but like an educated guess, whether it happens or not, it doesn't really matter to me either way. It's just a direction that I think the author one could go with in regards to three of the natural enemies. And the three natural enemies that I am referring to are the parasites, the ordnance mecha, and the curse land. Okay. Now, the reason these three in particular have been on my mind is because, for one, these three natural enemies have risen in the ranks or risen in their dangerousness since the beginning of this story. I was one of those people where I kind of thought that the parasites didn't pose too much of a risk to at least certain enemies. But as the story has gone on, I have begun to think otherwise because the parasites are very capable. They adapt really well and they're able to penetrate a lot of natural enemies that I wasn't entirely sure that they would. So, the Ordnance Mecha, once we got, and I knew this, man, we saw them in chapter 2. It took a while for them to come back into the fray, but I knew that once we got introduced to the next phase robots, which would be the specialized obliteration units for the other natural enemies, I knew we were going to get a big upgrade. I just had that feeling. And the author one did not disappoint. I feel like the specialized obliteration units were very impressive, very cool looking, and just like the parasite showed capabilities of adapting during the fight, which was really freaking cool, and showed that it's capable of evolution, like kind of like upgrading itself by absorbing mana and using it against the Sorcerian demon lords. So, really impressive. And then the Curse Land technology has been very impressive because it seems like the Curse Land technology is going to be as strong as what it absorbs. Not to mention its capabilities on analyzing other enemies or just anything in general is really impressive. And the Curse Land technology has been really giving me ideas of how strong it could be as well. Now, the Matarins, which I kind of feel like I'm leaving the Matarins out of this, even though the Matarins are very similar to like the Ordnance Mecha or the Curse Land technology, because I believe that the Matarins are cosmic organisms that are operating in a suit, a technological suit. So it's not too far off from the Curse Land technology or Ordnance Mecha. However, I just don't quite feel like they fit into this, okay? And I could be wrong, but I find these three more interesting. So, the Matarins were talking amongst each other and basically said that they did not have to worry about the parasites being able to infiltrate their bodies, right? And that may be true, or that may not be true. And that may or may not be true also for Ordnance Mecha, or I guess you could even say the Curse Land tech, right? And to be honest with you guys, I'm not even entirely sure what the Curse Land enemy is. I don't know if it's the black goo that seems to appear once the technology has sucked the life force out and also gets into people's body and kind of takes over their body, or if it's the technology itself. If the technology also has an artificial intelligence that is killing the world and the people around it. So I'm not entirely sure what the Curse Land enemy is, whether it's the goo or the technology. But there seems to be this generalized or straightforward thought that none of the technology can be penetrated by a parasite, right? And to be honest with you, that makes total sense as to why it could not be. Okay? Totally makes sense. So if the author one decides, hey, I'm going to have it in this story to where the parasite cannot penetrate the Matterins, it can't penetrate the robots or the Cursed Land tech because it's not a living thing. It is metal and plastic and other materials put together that is a machine. Totally understand that. However, it also would not surprise me or go against the grain if the author one went the more creative route and had it to where the parasite can, in fact, infiltrate technology. Now, some of you may be wondering to yourself, like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You're fucking high right now. Okay? Let me explain. Better yet, let me give you guys an example. Okay? Have any of you ever seen Scavengers Reign? Now, for some of you that have, you might already be like, oh, light bulb. I see where he's going with this. And you would be right. But for those of you who have not seen Scavengers Reign, which I believe was on HBO Max, maybe even Netflix, I don't know. Let me explain. Okay, let me explain this whole concept. So on Scavengers Reign, some humans who were essentially riding around in space for the purpose of, I think, some kind of human empire or civilization in space. And I think they're sent to go explore. Okay, their job is to go explore. I think go to other planets, find resources and ways to where they can use things from the planet, I believe, right? If my memory serves me. So they go to this particular planet. And long story short, on this planet is just full of things that are very complex and very strange that they haven't seen and experienced before. And unfortunately for them too, it's full of things that are capable of killing them in various ways. Essentially, this planet is just full of prey that constantly needs to feed. And one of these humans has a robot companion, okay? This robot was administered to her by the company that they work for, and its purpose is to serve her and help with daily tasks or assist her in things that require heavy lifting or analysis or anything like that, right? Now, this particular robot unit is called a Levi, okay? It's a string of a certain unit, okay? They're all called Levi's. And this Levi is a robot that is compatible with the motorcycle that she rides around. Now, so she's on this planet. She's going around doing her analysis, her research, collecting data, and this Levi is helping her, okay? Now, this robot is doing various tasks, and while on this planet, I think while resting on the motorcycle or something like that. Now, mind you, this planet is full of organisms and parasites that its whole purpose is to kill or infiltrate whatever, right? So this organism gets a hold of this Levi robot while it's incapacitated. It's shut down. It infiltrates it and starts to basically root itself within this robot. Now, at first, you're thinking nothing of it because you're like, it's a fucking robot. What the fuck are you gonna do? But over time, throughout this show, this robot starts to develop a conscious. It starts to develop thoughts and feelings rather than just answering the questions that it's asked using the AI that was programmed into it. It starts to have its own thoughts, starts to have feelings, emotions, and it even starts to feel sensations. Okay? Now, the human that this Levi is assisting is noticing these changes. So she says, hey, why don't you turn around? Let me get a look at your inner circuits because you seem to be behaving very strangely. So the Levi turns around, opens up its wiring, its inner, manufacturing and such. And that's when the human sees this organism that has rooted itself into essentially the motherboard of this robot. And at first she's just like, kind of looks like, okay, that is kind of gross, but I don't see how this could really affect you, so it's whatever. And as time goes on, long story short, the robot becomes more and more, I don't want to say human like, but just more and more alive. Like a living creature as opposed to a machine. And then she finally says, hey, you know what? Let me get another look at you. And this time I want you to open up even more. Show me more of your, the inside of your manufacturing so I could see maybe there's something else. So it opens up even more. And then you could see that this organism is completely spread throughout this robot. So the human, she says, you know what? I think now that whatever is in this robot growing inside of it is actually responsible for these changes that we're seeing. So with that being said, I'm going to just start removing this organism from this robot, and then maybe the robot will start to act normal again. So as she's doing this, she starts to pull, so she could basically like rip this parasite out of the robot. And when she does so, the robot starts to shake. And she's like, why are you shaking? And he's like, I don't know. So then she goes to grab it again. And this time she really goes for it. She just rips it out. And when she does so, the robot shakes and screams in pain by saying, ouch.
I feel fine, Ozzy. But, okay. If you'd like.
Levi, I think it would be best if we open you up all the way, all right?
Of course. But you sound distressed. Is everything okay?
Yeah. I just think we need to give you a deeper clean. What was that? Did you just flinch?
I'm not sure. I was reacting to a strange sensation.
What kind of sensation?
I don't know. It's something I've never felt before.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going, all right? What is going on?
This doesn't feel good.
What about that?
You're touching me with your hand.
What's it feel like?
Nice, I think.
No, that's not right. I'm gonna shut you off, okay? Take a closer look at this stuff.
Wait!
You shouldn't be able to feel anything at all, especially if it hurts when I touch it.
Okay, Ozzy.
So this robot has just felt pain for the first time in its existence. So at this point, we have came to the conclusion that this robot was infiltrated by this parasite, and the parasite essentially gained life through the robot, and the robot became a living thing with the assistance of this parasite. Now, luckily for this human, the parasite and the robot weren't trying to hurt her or kill her. In fact, when it came to its full development towards the end of this season, it definitely evolved. Definitely at this point, you could see on the outside that it had changed, but it still helped her and still tried to keep her safe. But at this point, it was a living being. So I say all that to say that the author one could do the same exact thing with verses. The author one can have the parasite penetrate and infiltrate the Ordnance mecha robots, including the specialized obliteration units. It could override the artificial intelligence that is programmed these robots, and it could take life within shape, could shape a living creature within this robot. Learn the secrets that Mother has, all the data that these robots are collecting. The parasite can absorb all of this knowledge by doing so. But I also think this could also be true for the Matterants, because although they're cosmic, they're also using battle suits. That's technology. Why would the parasite be able to infiltrate the Ordnance mecha technology, but not the Matterant technology? And then lastly, the same goes for the Cursed Land technology. That's technology. Why would the parasite not be able to infiltrate the Cursed Land technology? So that is a very interesting concept that the author one may or may not use for his story. Again, I'm not saying he will. I'm not saying I feel like he's going to. I don't know what that man's going to do. This is his idea. This is his concept. This is his story. And I like the way he's doing it. And I'm fine with either way. But I am anticipating something like that. Whether it's going to happen or not, I don't know. Now, lastly, kind of going back to what I said about the Cursed Land tech, or the Cursed Land, I don't know what the enemy is. I don't know if it's the technology or the black ooze. Now, if it's the black ooze, maybe that black ooze is also somewhat of a parasite, like a living organism. And that could also penetrate the Ordnance mecha, but maybe even the parasite. I don't know. But you also got to think to yourself, the Cursed Land technology, if the Matterants get their hands on this Cursed Land technology and incorporate it into their own technology, bro, you're looking at a major, major upgrade for the Matterants. They might develop a whole new form that is on the level of a Jachi or such. Maybe even a Gimbok. I don't know. And of course, the same goes for the Ordnance mecha. If the Ordnance mecha gets its hands on the Cursed Land technology, gets that back to Mother, the artificial intelligence, and she incorporates that into her next robot, dude, you're looking at an Ordnance mecha robot that maybe Jachi wouldn't be able to hurt or kill or whatever. So this is really interesting stuff. It's very exciting. It's like, man, what is the author gonna do? Is he gonna incorporate this stuff? Is he gonna use this stuff? I don't know, but I'm very excited to see. So yeah, man, those are a couple of concepts that I wanted to put out there, that I wanted to talk about, that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention. I would love for you guys to comment and kind of just let me know what you guys think. Do you think that the author one might use these concepts in this story? If so, do you think that Parasite or Ordnance Mecca or the Cursed Land or the Matarins, do you guys think that they're going to be unstoppable at that point? Do you think that they're going to be god level, up there with Gimbok or Yaotsu or Byaku? I'm very, because I think so. I think if the Ordnance Mecha gets their hands on Cursed Land technology and combines it, oh my, I don't know what kind of robot we would see next. Because not only would it be powerful, but it's gonna have a super. Because all the Cursed Land technology is like, it's like a dark color, and from Ordnance Mecha we've been seeing like these robots with white plastic and stuff, so it'd have a whole new look too. So it's like black and gold and white, and I'm like, man, bro, I'm really interested to see what's gonna happen, man. But I thought that it was really interesting when I thought about the parasites or the Cursed Land and the whole robot thing. I immediately thought of Scavenger's Reign and how that robot basically became a living creature through the parasite that infiltrated it. So thought it was a cool concept. So that's it, guys. That's all I wanted to talk about. Hit like on this video if you like this content. Hit subscribe if you want to see or hear more content like this. And I will see you guys later.